want? A choice. A chance.
There's your chance. Take it.
Grateful.
The day will come when you won't be.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Back again with another review for The Walking Dead. This is going to be Season 7, Episode 4, entitled Service. Alright, guys, this episode starts out with Michonne and Rick. They're lying in bed back to back. Michonne turns and gazes at Rick, who she believes is sleeping, before she quietly slips out of the bed, gets dressed, and retrieves a hidden sniper rifle from the living room fireplace. Rick quietly watches as she leaves the house with her katana and rifle. Michonne sits on top of a rusty truck in the middle of a field. She scans her surroundings. The rifle rests on her lap. Back at the house in Alexandria, Rick picks up Judith from her crib. Rosita and Spencer drive up to the gate, preparing to leave for a supply run. Spencer asks Eugene if he would like to help. Eugene states he is repairing a portable audio system for the Saviors. Negan arrives with a large group of over 30 Saviors. Daryl is among them, looking injured and pale. Negan demands to be let in. Spencer opens the gate for them. Rick meets Negan at the gate and notes that he came earlier than planned. Negan strides into Alexandria and thrusts Lucille into Rick's hand, saying, "Hold this." Rick tries to check in with Daryl, whose face is swollen and bruised, but Negan forbids Rick or any of the Alexandrians from speaking to him, or otherwise they will face consequences. Rick tells Negan that they already set aside half of their supplies, but Negan says he'll be the one that decides which supplies they take. Arat, one of Negan's lieutenants, orders the Saviors to start searching the houses. Dwight confiscates Rosita and Spencer's guns after taunting them by taking Rosita's hat and pouring her water out. He orders them to bring back Daryl's motorcycle. Rosita and Spencer leave Alexandria. In the field, Michonne sits patiently on the rusty truck waiting. When a walker comes into view, she aims her rifle at it and shoots, missing it numerous times. She kills the walker out of frustration with her katana. Back in Alexandria, Saviors haul furniture out of residents' homes. Negan inquires about Maggie's whereabouts. Gabriel asks if Negan wants to pay his respects. "She didn't make it?" he asks. Rick says nothing but shakes his head hesitantly. Gabriel leads Negan to the graveyard where Glenn and Abraham and supposedly Maggie are buried. Negan rues Maggie's death, saying he'd plan on asking her to join him as his wife at his compound. Rick quietly seethes with anger and tightens his grip on Lucille, but swiftly relaxes. Moments later, they hear a gunshot. In the infirmary, Carl holds David, a Savior, at gunpoint. He orders David to return some of the medicine he took. Rick begs Carl to lower his gun. Negan jokes about Carl's fearlessness, and Carl finally complies after Negan threatens to harm more people. As a precaution, Negan declares that he's confiscating all guns in Alexandria. Olivia takes a group of Saviors into the armory. Negan tells Rick he'll leave their food untouched to ensure that they remain strong enough to collect for him. Negan commands Rick to thank him, but Rick refuses. Negan says that Rick is one of them who forced Negan's hand, and that's why he should thank him. Negan asks if anyone keeps guns outside the armory. Rick assures him that all their guns are kept in storage. Out in the woods, Rosita and Spencer find Daryl's motorcycle where they had previously hidden it. Spencer begins to question Rick's leadership, unaware that Rosita was heading into the woods as Spencer loads the motorcycle into the van. Arat informs Negan that 2 guns are missing from the armory. A disappointed Negan threatens to kill Olivia if Rick doesn't find the missing guns. Rick calls a meeting with the residents of Alexandria in an attempt to locate the missing guns. Ignoring the question about the missing guns, Eric asks Rick how he plans to get them out of their situation with Negan. Rick emphasizes there is no way out. Negan's in charge. He asks if anyone has the guns. Eugene notes that some people are absent from the meeting. Rosita hunts down the undead saviors present during Denise's death and kills them. She takes a gun from Neil's corpse, but it has no bullets. Spencer tracks her down and chastises her. Rosita tells him that she's looking for guns on the assumption that Negan will confiscate all the guns at Alexandria. While Rick, Gabriel, Aaron search Spencer's house for missing guns, Rick commends Gabriel on his Maggie ruse with Negan earlier at the graveyard. "It was quick thinking, thank you." Gabriel is optimistic that they will prevail in the end, despite Rick's insistence that there is no way out. Rick then finds the missing gun stashed in the floor air vent of Spencer's house, along with stolen food and liquor. Outside, David taunts Enid in the street, stroking her face and making a scene. Rick brings the missing guns to Negan. Rosita and Spencer return as Negan gathers his group at the gate, and the Saviors begin to leave in a small group. Rick sees Michonne lurking in the house outside of Alexandria, the one that's all burned out and looking and stuff, watching them. Rick asks if Negan can give him a second. Negan refuses, and Rick rephrases and says, "Please, can you give me a second?" Negan permits Rick to speak with Michonne. Rick tells Michonne that he knows about her secret rifle, and that he knew that she was using it for target practice sessions. He urges her to hand over the rifle, arguing that more people will die if the Saviors find an Alexandrian with a gun. Rick gives Negan Michonne's rifle, making up a cover story for her, saying she was out hunting. Rick then goes on to ask if Daryl can stay in Alexandria, since they followed the rules and gave Negan half their supplies. Negan asks Daryl if he wants to stay. Daryl remains obediently silent. Dwight takes the motorcycle from Spencer and rides up to Daryl and say, "You can have it back, just say the word." Daryl remains silent, so Dwight drives off. Negan refuses to leave Alexandria until Rick thanks him. "Thank you," Rick concedes. A walker approaches and Negan turns to kill it. Rick once again tightens his grip on Lucille as he contemplates killing Negan, but decides against it. Negan retrieves Lucille on his way out, saying that he can't forget her. The Saviors leave with half of the Alexandrians' belongings and Daryl in tow. Rick closes the gate and privately chews out Spencer for hoarding supplies, saying that he is small and weak, and that he has gotten lucky. Spencer says they should have made a deal with Negan when they had their chance. He then blames Rick and Glenn and Abraham's death. Rick threatens to break Spencer's jaw and knock his teeth out if he says anything like that again. Rosita confronts Spencer about the hidden guns and asks him why he didn't mention them. "You saw what I did to get one," she says. Spencer explains that he hid the guns for a while because he didn't trust Rick and he was worried about Rick being in charge. He muses that Rosita was correct. They don't have to live like they are. When he leaves, Rosita reaches into the wheel well of the car, retrieving the gun that she took from Neil in the woods. Rick spreads the blankets on the bedroom floor at his home, mentioning that the Saviors took most of their mattresses. Michonne assures Rick that she doesn't have any more secret guns. She reminds him that they've survived as long as they have because they always fight back, but Rick says there are too many Saviors. It's about the numbers. Michonne mentions the hilltop, but Rick says that even with the hilltop, they're still outnumbered. He reveals his thoughts on Judith not being his daughter, and he learned to accept that in order to keep her alive. He tells Michonne that she has to learn to accept the situation with Negan. They all do, or it won't work. "This is how we live now," he says. Michonne says she'll try to accept it. Michonne returns to the rusty truck in the grassy field. She sees a wisp of smoke in the distance and goes to investigate. She finds all the mattresses from Alexandria smoldering on the side of the road and rages with anger. In Alexandria, Rosita picks up an empty shell casing from the gun Negan shot earlier that day and pays Eugene a visit. "Make me a bullet," she says, as the episode comes to an end. Alright guys, that was the review for Season 7, Episode 4, entitled Service. Yeah guys, really cool, intense episode where Negan and the Saviors came to Alexandria. Very tense the whole time, with basically Negan making Rick his bitch and everything. But yeah, some awesome one-liners in this episode from Negan. Yeah, insane, man. I really thoroughly enjoyed it, and I can't wait to see what happens next. And I know you guys can't either, and appreciate y'all checking this out as always. And I'll be back next week with episode 5 review. Y'all be good.
Welcome to Woodburn.
Listen my pants yet?